Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. I appreciate you stopping by here. If you will, like, share, comment on the post. And then if you'd like to join me, you can find our text in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1. We're looking at verses 5 and 6 today. All righty. Verse number 5. Because our gospel came to you not only in word, but also in power and in the Holy Spirit and with full conviction. You know what kind of men we proved to be among you for your sake. And you became imitators of us and of the Lord, for you received the word in much affliction with the joy of the Holy Spirit. Paul says there were men there preaching to you, Paul being one of them. And certainly we know that the gospel should be preached and it should be proclaimed. That's the whole reason that Paul had went to Thessalonica to begin with, was to proclaim the gospel. But several things here that I think are important to point out about this preaching of the gospel. It was not just words, he said. It didn't come to you just, wasn't just me or others standing up and preaching and giving you a speech, but it was ultimately the work of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was empowering and working through us and through his word to convict and to change the people of Thessalonica. Important lesson for us to remember today is doesn't matter how eloquent we are, doesn't matter how well prepared we are, doesn't matter, we can have all the latest presentations and PowerPoints and all of those things, but ultimately it is the Holy Spirit that does the work. But then Paul goes on and he says that there was work. There's definitely, we can't sit back and say, well, we'll just wait on God to do it. We're directed to go out and to proclaim the gospel and then allow the Holy Spirit to do his work. But then notice the next statement Paul makes. Paul says, but you know what kind of men we prove to be. Our life backed up what we preached and what the Holy Spirit convicted. What you heard in us, you also saw in us. That wasn't a matter of just a great speech. It wasn't a matter of the Holy Spirit working. It was a matter of us delivering the gospel, the message of Jesus Christ. It was a matter of the Holy Spirit working, but then also it was a matter of us living the life we were supposed to live, that we were, as we say, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. And that's very important for us today. I think that's that last piece is certainly the weak link in the sharing of the gospel in our world today. There's a lot of preaching going on. There's a lot of teaching going on. Books everywhere, internet, all kinds of access to the gospel. And certainly we wouldn't say that the Holy Spirit had lost his ability, his power, that he wasn't doing his job. Perhaps then that brings us to the weak link in the sharing of the gospel today, and that is in you and I living a life that aligns with the message that we are proclaiming. Paul says, you know what kind of men we prove to be among you. You know what kind of men we prove to be. What kind of men and women are we proving to be in our workplace, in our neighborhood, and our community? What kind of men and women are we proving to be? Not claiming to be, but proving to be. And then notice what Paul says, and because of that, you became imitators of us and of the Lord. You received the word with much affliction and with joy. What happened? Again, we have the proclaiming of the word, then the Holy Spirit doing his work, and then our life backing up and supporting the message that we preached. And because of that, then the audience received the message, and they went out and became imitators as well. I love what one writer said and commented on this. If we believe that the gospel and the Holy Spirit is good enough and powerful enough to save me, then I should also believe it's good enough and powerful enough to save others, and that I should go out and be an imitator and proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. And so here we see, again, a method, a pattern of how the gospel of Jesus Christ is proclaimed. It begins with the preaching of the Word. Then it has the work of the Holy Spirit. Can't do without that. Then we have to live a life that supports the message that we're preaching, and then that process just repeats and continues to go on as others pick up that message and then go out and become an imitator. Great question for us to think about as we wrap up this passage today. If others became imitators of you, what kind of follower of Christ would they be? Would you want others to imitate your walk and your relationship with Jesus Christ? If that was the case, how much would the gospel be expanding? How many people would be coming to know Christ? Do we want others to be imitators of our life? Think about it. You have a good one. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.